LAFCO, January 6, 2021. I hope, however, that we don't have too many more of these meetings the day after an important election. I, for one, did not get much sleep last night, and I suspect there are others of you as well. So, but let's carry on, and we have some important things to do today. And the first item is that I would like to have the roll call.
Certainly. Good morning, everyone. Commissioner Friend. We got some folks who are still muted. Commissioner Friend.
Here, sorry.
It's okay, dear. Good morning. Commissioner Jim Anderson.
Here.
Commissioner Cummings.
Here.
Commissioner Lather.
Here.
Commissioner Coonerty.
Here.
Commissioner Estrada.
Good morning, everyone here.
Chairperson Anderson.
I'm here.
Alternate Brooks.
Here.
Alternate Banks.
Here.
Alternate Hunt.
He's here, but he's muted.
Well, alternate Hunt, are you there? He is here, but he's muted. But let me just give an honorable mention to our outgoing commissioner, John Leopold.
I'm sorry, I don't have any audio. Is anyone talking yet?
We can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so let's proceed with the meeting. I assume that it sounds like John is here. We can see his picture without too much trouble. I'll hear him. So anyway, I'd like to move on to the Executive Officer's Report. Mr. Serrano, do you have anything you want to add at this time?
Thank you, Chair. Happy New Year, Commissioners. Good morning to you and to everyone. It's a pleasure to have everyone here today. Hopefully I can see you in the near future, but in the meantime, we will continue conducting these meetings remotely for the safety of this commission, its staff, and for the public. With partnership with LAFCO, we will be using their Zoom webinar for this meeting and for the next coming meetings. I just want to briefly go over the meeting structure. All the commissioners will have complete control of their webcams and microphones. For the public, your webcams and microphones have been disabled, but you also have the ability to view and hear the discussions today and all the presentations. For members of the public that would like to address the commission on any particular item, there's two ways of doing so. One, you can send staff an email in which we will read your comments on your behalf, or you can raise your hand on the Zoom platform. And for those individuals joining us on a conference call, pressing *9 will raise your hand. Once staff acknowledges you to speak to the commission, you'll have up to 3 minutes to address the commission on a particular item. We will inform you when you have 1 minute left, and we'll also inform you when your time is up. Once you wrap up, we will then mute your microphone once again. And for all items today that require commission action, we will do a roll call vote. Chair, the other update I want to give to the commission is an introduction to our new staff member, Chris Carpenter. He'll be our incoming commission clerk. He'll be replacing Miss Deborah Means when she retires. While no one can replace Miss Deborah, I think Chris has the capabilities to really be an asset to this commission and to LAFCO. He's young, he's bright, he has no idea what he got himself into, but I think he'll fit right in. Chair, with that, that concludes my update. This is an informational item, so no commission action is required, but I'd be happy to answer any questions once you open and close public comments.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to welcome Chris. And do you care to say any words to us on your starting on this new job?
Oh, yes, yes. Thank you so much, Chair Anderson and Commissioners, Vice Chair Cummings. I'm actually honored to be on this meeting today with a warm, welcoming introduction. Mr. Serrano, thank you so much as well for adding me to this meeting starting off the year 2021. And for me, this is a whole new career path. I'm excited. I'm in excellent hands learning from Ms. Deborah Means. She knows the ins and outs of the commission clerk position. Excel in her position and take it on to the next level to make my way up in the organization with LAFCO. Very exciting, very fortunate, very blessed. And thank you so much. Happy New Year.
Well, thank you, Chris. So let's move on to the public comments period. The adoption of minutes, we'll do that first.
Sure, Chair. And just for this particular item, the executive officer message, we don't have any requests to speak to the commission or address the commission at this time. So I think we can move on to the adoption of minutes.
Okay. So
I make a motion that we approve the minutes from our last meeting.
Second.
okay,
I missed who seconded.
Justin.
Dustin.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Deborah, please call a roll call on this.
Certainly. Commissioner Friend. We're all muted, or
He's
he's
okay
muted.
now.
Aye.
Hi. Commissioner Jim Anderson.
Aye.
Commissioner Cummings.
Aye.
Commissioner Lather.
Aye.
Commissioner Coonerty.
Aye.
Commissioner Estrada.
Aye.
Chairperson Roger Anderson.
Aye.
For the record, this item passes unanimously.
Thank you. Now, oral communications. Apparently, we don't have anyone addressing us, but this is their opportunity to tell the commission about any item not on our agenda for today.
Chair, I did receive a request to address the commission on agenda item 4 from Becky Steinbrenner. Ms. Becky, I'm going to unmute you, and you have up to 3 minutes to address the commission.
Thank you.
Good morning, this is Becky Steinbrunner. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you, and good morning and Happy New Year to all of you, and a hearty welcome to Mr. Carpenter. You're under good hands there with Miss Means in your training, but Deborah, we're gonna miss you.
Thank you.
I want to make a special thank you publicly to Mr. Serrano for his organization of the agenda today. He took to heart the commissioner's request to have links directly from the agenda to the documents that support those items, and I think he's done a beautiful job. So I'm very appreciative. It's great not to have to scroll back and forth, and it's very nicely done. So thank you for that good work today. I would also like to make public the Pajaro Valley Water Commission's decision to spend $1.2 million to support conservation, water conservation in agricultural areas of the Pajaro Valley Water District. 40% of their sustainability plan is conservation. I think that is very laudable. And I think it's something that other water districts, while they may not have the amount of agricultural use that the Pajaro Valley does, certainly should take into account and be doing more for conservation rather than less. I've recently been disheartened to actually hear the board of the Soquel Creek Water District discuss maybe not making conservation such a big deal and not supporting it with money so much. And I really want to urge all water districts to use conservation. I want to also say that the large screen TV ability for public hearings in areas where there are public hearings for LAFCO, future LAFCO meetings should definitely be considered. There can be social distancing practiced, and to provide that in the area where there are hearings going on would greatly benefit the public. And finally, I want to support consolidation of Soquel Creek Water District and the city of Santa Cruz in any way possible in the future. I think it only makes sense, and our consolidation effort today with the fire department is testimony to that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Serrano, are there any other comments?
There are no other requests to address the commission at this time, Chair.
Okay, thank you. So let's move on to the main items of business today. And start with the resolution of appreciation for John Leopold. Mr. Serrano, can you start us off on this?
Thank you, Chair. What can we say about John Leopold? We could discuss all his accomplishments as a CalLAFCO chair or board member, or his work as a commissioner for Santa Cruz LAFCO, but we don't have the time, and also just summarizing any of his accomplishments would not give them justice. So today I just wanted to give my appreciation to John as a mentor and as a friend. And I'm speaking directly to you, Mr. John. When I think about CalLAFCO or the LAFCO world in general, you're one of the first people I think of. And the reason why that happens is because you were the first non-Orange County or Southern California member that I went, huh, he's not that bad. And that kind of evolved to, wow, this is a great person. And turns out I'm not the only one that felt that way. Paul Novak, the executive officer for LA LAFCO, who unfortunately couldn't join us this morning, but asked me to speak on his behalf. And he sent me an email, and I quote, "John Leopold is one of the finest elected officials that I have the pleasure of knowing. He is smart, insightful, and considerate, not to mention friendly and always willing to lend a hand. My favorite story about John is when he told me, 'You are from Los Angeles, so I'm not supposed to like you.' Yes, we agreed to set aside our north-south rivalries, and I would like to think that we are both better from it. I will miss John dearly, and I am hopeful that we will work together in the not too distant future. Best of luck, my friend." End of quote. Mr. John, I myself went from admiring you as a newbie analyst back in 2009 to having the pleasure of working with you as an EO here at Santa Cruz LAFCO. And while it seemed that our time was limited, we accomplished a lot together. From the fire consolidations to updating the policies to helping the residents from CSA 26. That happened all within less than 2 years. And I really think the universe just wasn't ready for our powerhouse together. Or better yet, I think the universe is telling you that your greatness is needed elsewhere. So before I turn it over to our first guest speaker, I know there's a couple of individuals that like to express their appreciation again. I did stumble upon a YouTube clip that I wanted to share with the commission and the public. I'll only show a snippet of it, but if you ask nicely, I can provide a link to you. But here is the video that I happen to find.
We have a very special performance this evening. Please welcome John Leopold.
If dogs run free, then what must be, and that is all. True love can make a blade of grass stand up straight and tall in harmony Galaxy. True love needs no company. It can cure the soul. It can make you whole. If dogs run free.
So you said it yourself. If the dogs run free, why not me? It seems that 2021 is your time to run free, Mr. John, to wherever that may be. With that, I'll now turn it over to Ms. Pamela Miller, the Executive Director of LAFCO.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
Good
Morning,
morning.
Pamela.
morning.
Good morning, Chair Anderson, Commission, John. As Joe said, I'm Pamela Miller. I'm the Executive Director with LAFCO. And I really appreciate the opportunity to say a few words this morning. On behalf of the LAFCO Board of Directors, I want to express our gratitude and appreciation to you, John, for the many years of dedicated service to local government, to Santa Cruz LAFCO, and to LAFCO. You made so many contributions to the state association and to LAFCO's statewide through your leadership. The board and I are really, really grateful to you for that. Several of them have asked me to share with you their specific appreciation. They're not able to be here today. Longtime board members who've served a lot of years with you, Josh and Gay and Mike McGill and Mike Kelly in particular. The entire board did send John a framed certificate of appreciation. And many of our new board members know, John, that they are standing on your shoulders based on the work that you did. For those of you who don't know, John served on the board, the LAFCO board, for 8 years, 2011 to 2000 through 2018. He was on the board for just 1 year before he was elected to serve on the executive committee and run through the chairs. And speaking of running through the chairs, his leadership was so extraordinary that he served as chair of the board for 2 years. And that has only happened one other time in LAFCO's history, as far as I know. I met John when he was on the executive committee doing the executive director recruitment in 2012. And I knew immediately, John, in that first interview, that you were a person of compassion and integrity. And it's rare that we meet people who are truly their authentic self all the time. And you, John, are your authentic self all the time. Whether you're in DC fighting for something for your county, whether you're dealing with the FAA, or you're fronting a band looking like one of the Blues Brothers, you just show up as your true authentic self. And to your values and your purpose, the purpose that drives you, which is making the world a better place. I really appreciated the time that we spent walking the halls in Sacramento, in the Capitol, making visits to our legislators, spending endless hours sitting, waiting for our turn that just kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed. The agonizing testimony in front of the Little Hoover Commission, where we literally fought for the life of LAFCOs. And finding somebody, looking under every single rock, we could find somebody who would agree to support and administer state-level grants for LAFCOs. And then the myriad of other things we did over the 7 years I got to spend working for and with you in CalLAFCO. CalLAFCO grew and transformed under your extraordinary leadership. For those of you who don't know, John was awarded the CalLAFCO Outstanding Member in 2016 as a result of his extraordinary leadership. I'll just say to you, John, that my world is a better place for having had the opportunity to work with you and to become your friend. I'm so proud of the work we did together under your leadership. And while today is bittersweet, like Joe said, I know that the universe holds a larger vision and a purpose for you. And I can't wait to see you walk that journey. You've left a wonderful legacy in Santa Cruz County with your LAFCO there and with CalLAFCO. And I can't wait to see what's next for you. I know we'll stay in touch. And all I have to say, John, is just rock on and run free, my friend. Thank you.
And just
Thank you.
and that's why. Oh, good, perfect, John. You have full control of your microphone, so feel free to jump if you'd like. We do have a number of other individuals who'd like to speak. I know Deborah Means wanted to share a few words.
Is it my turn now, or John goes first?
No, you can go ahead, Ms. Deborah.
John, you got LAFCO in your blood. I'll be surprised if we don't hear from you. And I'll really miss your giggle in the stairwell of the county building. We could hear it all the way through. Even if I'm in the basement, I could hear you on the 5th floor. So I wish you all the best in your retirement, and I look forward to getting some tips from you before I retire. Okay, dear, take care.
Chair, we do have a number of individuals that like to speak. Would you like to have them speak now, or would you like the commission to have a discussion?
Let's hear the other comments. I have some remarks myself, and I'm sure other commissioners will as well.
Okay, next on the list is a Pat McCormick. I think we know him. Mr. Pat, you have been unmuted.
Great, thank you, Joe. Members of the commission, staff members, the members of the public who are regulars, and particularly John, good morning, Happy New Year. I have recently retired from working in Santa Cruz County since the 1970s, and I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of elected officials over 4 decades. John is always assertive for his cause. Sometimes it's a constituent, sometimes it's his district, sometimes it's the county, and sometimes it's the CalLAFCO board. But whenever I got a call from him, I knew he was going to ask for something and was going to push for whatever he felt he needed. John is also highly ethical. We do have a high level of public ethics in Santa Cruz County on average. He is at the top end of the range. I never had any bad feelings about any ethics, and you can be assertive and ethical, and that's a very effective combination. Finally, John is wonky. He was the CalLAFCO board representative to the CalLAFCO Legislative Committee, which was mostly attorneys and professional LAFCO staffers. And several times a year they would meet to discuss very detailed legislative proposals that were either introduced in the legislature or that CalLAFCO was thinking about introducing. So John would have questions about protest processes and percentages and checks and balances, and he really seemed interested. He certainly was doing his homework, and he was able to pick up on some pretty detailed process in order to be able to participate in those meetings. And we should be on record that he is also wonky. Finally, I'm going to ask him to tell you the story of how he used his contacts in the musical industry to promote an annexation which benefited both the Central Fire Protection District and the property owners involved. And that was another thing about John. He would pick, if you needed him to pick up the phone and call somebody, he knew a lot of people, and he would do that for you, even though he had a very busy schedule. So John, please tell the music industry story, and I hope to see you around and hope to be able to give you a hug sometime in the near future. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Pat. I appreciate that. You know, it's not too often that my worlds collide. And when we were doing the Central Fire District Consolidation, one of the is that the board of Central Fire had 7 members, and Aptos La Selva had 5, and they wanted to reduce it. And there were only 2 ways to do that: election, which would have been cost them about $50,000, or reorganization. And to reorganize, they need, the LAFCO law allows that if you annex, our commission can reorganize the administrative structure. So Pat dutifully put together a list of 6 different properties that could be annexed. And we sat down with the fire chief and we went through each one. There was one that of someone I knew, and I thought maybe that would work. And then we got to the last one, and Pat goes, "I think you know this person, John. I think it would be helpful." And I said, "Well, okay, you know, who is it?" And he said, "Well, it's Lester Brown." And I looked at him and I was like, I don't know a Lester Brown. Who's Lester Brown? And he goes, "Maybe you know him by his middle name, Jackson Brown." And so the singer-songwriter Jackson Brown had a piece of property that we were looking to annex. And so I don't know Jackson Brown. I've met him a couple of times, but I knew his road manager is a Santa Cruz County resident. So I called him up. He eventually got me to the lawyer, and I pitched him on doing this. And the lawyer was very suspicious. He's like, "So you're telling me the taxes will go down and the service will get better?" I don't, you know, it was very dubious, but he dutifully called the fire chief, and the fire chief explained that, and Jackson ended up signing off and annexing, and our commission was able to reduce the size of the board, which made that consolidation that much better. So it was a nice merging of many different parts of my life. So.
Chair, I don't see any other public members raising their hand at this time.
Okay, I'd like to take it back to the board then for discussion, other remarks, and then we have a proclamation for John that we would like to introduce. And so, first of all, I'd like to ask, are there members of the board that would like to make comments, accolades, or whatever?
Yeah, I'd like to say something.
Okay.
I had the pleasure of being on the board just before John came on, and he was all the things that else said, and that was my experience. And there were a few times John and I were the only ones on the same side, and it was just a pleasure to watch him operate. And he is just one special person. He holds to his values, and you're never left wondering how John stands on a subject. He was always very passionate about that. So Godspeed in your new venture, John.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Okay, are there other comments from the board?
Commissioner Cummings.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, John, I'd just like to say thank you for all your years of commitment to LAFCO. And also like to thank you for being there as a mentor. When I first started on LAFCO, I didn't even know really what LAFCO did and what their role was, and you always made yourself available and were able to really help me kind of learn what LAFCO does and better understand LAFCO. And so appreciate you being there for newly electeds and making yourself available, and for just all your years of service to LAFCO and to our county. So thank you, and good luck on whatever comes next. I'm sure it's going to be great.
Thank you, Justin. Appreciate it.
Okay, I'd like to say a few words about John. And basically, I want to thank you, John, for your extraordinary service to the Santa Cruz LAFCO and the state Cal LAFCO organization. Your leadership for our commission has greatly helped us understand and make progress towards solving water, fire, and many other issues. I will greatly miss your constructive, successful efforts for our commission. I first met John Leopold about 10 years ago when he became a county member on our LAFCO. And from the beginning, it was clear to me that he would do outstanding work for our commission. This was especially evident with his work on our LAFCO water policies and public education about the issues. At the time, I was chair of Cal LAFCO, and I hoped that he would run for election to the Cal LAFCO board, where he'd be able to use his talents for all LAFCOs and help to strengthen state laws that help LAFCO perform their missions. I was glad that he accepted this encouragement, and he sought election to the board in fall of 2011. As is well known, incumbency of a sitting Cal LAFCO board member is a difficult barrier to attaining board membership. Hence, we were concerned when Simone Salinas was also running for the Coastal Region County position. However, Simone dropped out when he learned of John's candidacy, and John served for 8 years on the Cal LAFCO board, with 2 years as chair. As expected, John was an outstanding member of the Cal LAFCO board, and his contributions were many and important. Part of his efforts were needed to clean up the problems with regional representation. He also enthusiastically worked on the Cal LAFCO Legislative Committee and worked especially hard on trying to get state funding for some LAFCO unfunded mandates. The board, with John's leadership, was able to get such a bill through the legislature, but the governor vetoed it. Although additional bills have passed the legislature in later years, they have still been vetoed. I hope that the state will eventually support some Cal LAFCO efforts. I will miss his constructive, successful efforts for our commission and Cal LAFCO. I will always remember his humor and careful preparation for our meetings, and I'm sure that he will succeed in his future adventures. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. Really appreciate it.
Okay, Mr. Serrano, you want to summarize?
Before we do that, I know Commissioner Hunt also wants to say a few words.
Okay, good. And anyone else is more than welcome to.
Thank you, Mr. Serrano. I would just like to thank John Leopold for immediately taking time to show me the ropes of LAFCO when I joined 2 years ago. He immediately said, let's get together, come to my office. I did, and we probably talked for at least 2 hours. And to get 2 hours of a supervisor's time, I thought was very impressive. We did not talk the entire time about the Grateful Dead. We actually spent quite a bit of time on LAFCO. And I learned a lot. It's really been helpful, and I really appreciate that time. Also, I did go to the Cal LAFCO meeting a couple of years ago, and again, John was very generous with his time. As you've just heard, he knows so many people there and is involved in so many things, and yet he and I ended up sitting next to each other at dinners and other functions, and he really went through and laid out what was going on and who was doing what, and I just really appreciate the time for a new alternate member of the commission. So John, thanks very much. I'm sure my experience isn't unique. I really appreciate what you've done for everyone. Thanks.
Thank you, John. I really appreciate that.
And Chair, you were just emphasizing that we do have a resolution that all commissioners have signed. And it really tries to capture what Mr. John has accomplished over several years with Cal LAFCO and with this LAFCO. And it just kind of emphasizes his leadership at the local, regional, and state level. And I wanted to have my own personal resolution for you because, John, you were the one that hired me. You were the one that mentored me. And you were even the one that married me during this. My wife and I had a plan for this elaborate wedding. You know, COVID happened. So we literally had an intimate wedding. It was just my wife, John, and myself. And it was perfect. We had the ceremony here in the county building, and it was kind of full circle where John was the one who really helped me grow in LAFCO, and he was the one who helped me grow with my wife. So, John, I want to have like a separate resolution for you on behalf of my wife. And but for the time being, we have a resolution from the commissioners, and we have it framed. So most likely by the end of this week, you'll get it. We may hand deliver it to you. We'll see. But you have a resolution, and Chair, we do need a formal motion and second to ratify this resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Serrano. I'd be happy to call a question on the resolution. I think we pretty much committed to it. We've all signed it already, but I would like a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll make the motion. I beat you, Justin.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. All right. Deborah, can you call the roll on this one?
Certainly. Commissioner Friend.
Aye.
Commissioner Jim Anderson.
Aye.
Commissioner Cummings.
Aye.
Commissioner Lather.
Aye.
Commissioner Coonerty.
Aye.
Commissioner Estrada.
Aye.
Chairperson Roger Anderson.
Aye.
For the record, this item passes unanimously, believe it or not.
Okay. I'd like to call on John Leopold if he would like to make any remarks to the commission.
Thank you, Roger. And thank you for all the kind words that everybody shared just now. When I became supervisor, when anybody becomes supervisor, they have ideas of what it is they're going to work on. You know, they're going to try to make life better. They're going to protect the environment. They're going to work on civil rights issues. Very few people come into public office and go, LAFCO, that's the place I want to be. That, you know, I want to be involved with this commission. And because of what was available on the board when I got there, I asked to be on LAFCO. And I had really no idea of what journey that would set me on. And I'm grateful to have benefited from the many decades of experience that Pat McCormick had at LAFCO, his ability to be able to not only decipher and reveal the CKH legislation, give me some history about how some of these pieces got into the legislation, even been involved with drafting some of those pieces of legislation. But he also understood and could relate the stories of why decisions were made at the Santa Cruz County LAFCO. And that kind of incredible knowledge and experience was very helpful to me. Also, Roger's invitation to join the Cal LAFCO board was a little intimidating at first. Roger was chair of Cal LAFCO. I didn't realize all the different machinations that were going on at the time with the organization. And Roger, he pushed me in a good way, in the way that you'd want. It said, this is an opportunity. There's going to be a county supervisor spot. I don't think anybody else is going for it. You should put your name in the ring. And I was grateful it was maybe my first or second, I think it was my second Cal LAFCO conference where we did this voting. And I was grateful that Simone Salinas decided to withdraw his name, allowing me to be elected. And my Cal LAFCO experience has been incredibly rich. I've gotten to meet and work with so many incredible elected officials and leaders across the state. I've worked with incredible professionals. Joe mentioned Paul Novak, but there's Luann from Contra Costa. There's David Church from San Luis Obispo. There's a host of amazing executive officers across the state of California that I got a chance to work with through the Cal LAFCO Legislative Committee, and got to see how people did things across the state. And I so appreciate that opportunity because we think that we know things here in Santa Cruz, but you know, when you start thinking about what's happening in Butte County or Nevada County or San Diego and what the issues are there, it gives you an idea of the kind of policy thought that you need to put into doing something that's going to work for the state of California. I had the great pleasure of working with Bill Chiat when he was the executive director of Cal LAFCO, and I'm proud to have been on the executive committee that hired Pamela Miller. She's done an incredible job, and if we think about where the organization Cal LAFCO was when she came in and where it is now, it's just head and shoulders above. It's a much more professional organization. It's a much more solid organization. She has taken the regional efforts and really gotten to sing pretty well. And her commitment to making sure that all voices get heard is truly remarkable. And I'm glad to call her a friend, and I was glad to work with her for so many years on that board. Our board here in Santa Cruz County has you all are amazing professionals. Jim and I have served as long as I've been on there, and you know, one of the great things about serving on a commission or serving on anybody is that sometimes you're going to get connected to people that you wouldn't normally run across in life. And Jim and I, our life experiences outside of LAFCO, we may never have connected, but we connected through LAFCO, and we've developed a great friendship, and I'm proud to call him my friend, and I've called on him for advice and support, and he's always been there, and I'm grateful for that opportunity. And to be able to work with city council members, now we have Justin and Paco and Yvette, and we've had other city council members. It's a great opportunity to be able to work with so many of your partners in local jurisdictions. I was also happy to be part of the committee that hired Joe Serrano, because I think Joe is a great addition to Santa Cruz LAFCO, and has taken the big shoes left by Pat, and has really stepped up and taken our Santa Cruz LAFCO to the next level. And I appreciate his work, and I appreciate his leadership in wanting to get things done. Working with Deborah all these years has been great because she's super competent, incredibly friendly, and has a great sense of humor. And I knew that whenever I came into the LAFCO office that we were going to share a laugh, we were going to tell a story, and I was going to learn a little bit more about something going on. And so Deborah, I know your time is, you can now see the end of when you're going to serve here, but thank you for your contribution.
You're welcome, Dare. Thank you.
Yeah. So, you know, Roger mentioned the water policies that we worked on. I had no idea that would play such a big role in my life. And that was a great example of LAFCO playing a really positive role. We've used those policies in our decision-making here in Santa Cruz, but it also helped inform me about the conversations when worked with Pamela and the Cal LAFCO board on the Groundwater Sustainability Act. What we did here in Santa Cruz definitely played a role. And to be able to end my career with the consolidation of the Central Fire and Aptos La Selva Fire District was also a great accomplishment, and a great win for the community. And it shows that LAFCOs can play such an important role in improving services for people in the community. I'm slightly embarrassed that Joe shared my my most successful moment on stage in a Bob Dylan tribute show. I don't usually walk around with a hat and sunglasses and that whole outfit. But if you're gonna have one successful shot on stage, may it be caught on video. So you can look it up. It's a good time.
It lives forever on YouTube.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just I'm humbled by the kind words from everybody today. I'm thankful for my experience on LAFCO, and I look forward to working with you all in whatever the new capacity in my life will be. I just appreciate the opportunity. So thank you.
Thank you, John, for those very nice remarks. And we wish you well in your future activities.
Thank you.
Okay, any other concluding comments?
None that I can see, Chair.
Okay, Mrs. Serrano, let's move on to the next item.
Can I just say one word, please, before we move on?
Sure.
I also just wanted to give my congratulations to you, John. Sorry for being a little late this morning. I had something to attend to, but I really didn't, I would feel remiss if I didn't get a chance to thank you for your public service. It's a sterling record. I think you're a great person to work with, and I really look forward to just extending our relationship into the future. So good luck to you, and thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you, Daniel. You are a great legal representative for the commission, and we've been very fortunate over the years to have such strong representation, because we tend to get ourselves into trouble every once in a while. So it's really helpful to have someone at our side to make sure we don't get into too much trouble.
Good. Thank you very much for saying that. I wish you the best. Happy New Year.
Okay, any other takers on saying a few words?
Don't see any, Chair.
Okay, well, thanks for everyone's comments. Especially happy about Pamela's comments about John's enormously extraordinary work in LAFCO. And again, we'll struggle on without your efforts, John, on this, but it'll be much more difficult, I think, than we've had for the last 10 years of the commission. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on. Mr. Serrano, can you lead us into the next item?
Thank you, Chair. At the beginning of each year, the commission appoints a new chair and vice chair. The table shown on your screen shows the typical rotation, but I will note that the selection is based on the commission's discussion today, and it does not follow any written procedure. Staff is recommending that the commission appoint a new chair and vice chair for this calendar year. They will be seated at our next meeting, which is February 3rd. Chair, that concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions once you open and close public comments.
Okay, I'd like to open public comments on this item. Are there any takers for this?
I'd like to nominate Justin Cummings for the new chairman.
I'll second that.
Okay, let's do this as we'll vote on this first, and then we'll do the vice chair second. So all in favor?
I think we need to do a roll call vote.
Oh, that's right. Roll call, please. Are there any public comments about this before?
I'm checking to see if Ms. Becky Steinbrenner had comments on this item. I don't see her hand raised. So Ms. Becky, if you do like to address the commission, if you can raise your hand by pressing *9. If not, Chair, we don't have any requests to address the commission on this item.
Okay, let's, is there any further discussion on the board? Okay, let's have the roll call.
Certainly. Commissioner Friend.
Aye.
Commissioner Jim Anderson.
Aye.
I guess, should we ask for Commissioner Cummings' permission?
He can vote. He's a voting member.
Yeah,
okay.
For him to accept it.
Yep.
Commissioner Cummings. I heard an aye, I think. Okay, Commissioner Lather,
Aye.
Commissioner Coonerty,
Aye.
Commissioner Estrada,
Aye.
Chairperson Roger Anderson.
Aye.
For the record, Justin Cummings will be our chair for 2021.
Good. Happy New Year.
Great.
Thank you all.
I now would like to entertain a nomination for vice chair.
I suppose the clerk. Oh,
I'll nominate Rochelle Lather for vice chair.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second.
I'm surprised.
I'm not.
No, I seconded. I think someone else did too. Francisco, maybe.
I'll second it.
Okay. Anyway, let's go on. And is there any public comments about this nomination?
I don't see any requests, Chair.
Okay. Any further discussion on the commission? Okay, let's have a roll call.
Certainly. Commissioner Friend,
Aye.
Commissioner Jim Anderson,
Aye.
Commissioner Cummings,
Aye.
and what say you, Commissioner Lather?
Aye.
Commissioner Coonerty,
Aye.
Commissioner Estrada,
Aye.
Chairperson Roger Anderson.
Aye.
For the record, we have Rochelle Lather being our vice chair for 2021.
Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Serrano, should we move on?
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Chair. With the departure of John Leopold, we now have a vacancy with the Personnel Committee. Now, this body is responsible for addressing any employee-related actions, primarily the completion of staff's performance evaluations. The table that you see on your screen shows the last couple of Personnel Committee members. Staff is recommending that the Commission discuss and appoint up to 2 commissioners to be on the Personnel Committee for this calendar year. And Chair, that concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions once you open and close public comments.
Okay, so Mr. Serrano has made a suggestion that the new LAFCO chair be appointed to the commission and the present former LAFCO chair be appointed to the commission. As the former chair, I would be willing to do this, assuming that the board selects me. So let's have some public comments. Is there any discussion from the people involved on the call?
Chair, I do not see any requests to address the Commission on this item.
Okay, any suggestion from the, any comments from the board? And with
Well,
the,
I'll just comment that in the past, usually we had one existing and then changed one, so there was continuity from one year to the other with one of the positions. So I moved that Roger Anderson be nominated for one of those people.
okay, can I get a nomination for the second member?
I'll nominate Justin for he's the new chair for being the commissioner on
Okay.
the Personnel Committee.
Any further discussion? I don't know if we need seconds on those or not, but
Yes,
Well,
I believe-
nobody's first and seconded it yet, right? They just nominated.
I think that's the proper thing, is that they be a nomination and then we'll have a confirmation vote on it.
Right.
Not that we need a second. Okay, any comments from the public about this slate?
I don't see any requests, Chair, at this time.
Okay, Deborah, can you give us a roll call?
Certainly. Commissioner Friend,
Aye.
Commissioner Jim Anderson,
Aye.
Commissioner Cummings,
Aye.
Commissioner Lather,
Aye.
Commissioner Coonerty,
Aye.
Commissioner Estrada,
Aye.
Chairperson Roger Anderson.
Aye.
For the record, if I gather correctly, it was firsted by Commissioner Lather and seconded by Jim Anderson, or the other way around?
The motion was by Jim Anderson and seconded by Commissioner Lather.
Got it.
And it passes unanimously.
Yes.
Okay, we're moving right along, and let's talk about fire protection service. Mrs. Serrano?
Thank you, Chair. As part of the multi-year work program, the Commission has identified 4 service reviews to be completed this year, 2021. One of them being a countywide analysis on fire protection. And in preparation of that report, the Commission requested that staff provide an outline of the service review in order to ensure the relevant topics and factors are discussed. The table shown on your screen depicts the proposed chapters of the upcoming report. In summary, all the local agencies that provide fire protection will be analyzed, including cities, special districts, the county, and other entities. These agencies will be evaluated as a whole, as well as individually. And to produce a detailed report, staff will be sending out a survey to all the local agencies. A draft version of that survey is included in your agenda packet. Staff is recommending that the Commission approve the proposed outline and provide any feedback. And Chair, that concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions once you open and close public comments.
Okay, I'd like to open the public comments. The first thing, are there any questions, staff, about this item? Okay, are there any members of the public that would like to address us on this?
Hello, this is Becky Steinbruner. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. I want to thank the LAFCO director for doing this, and I see there is related action in the county next door asking for this level of review. I want to request that the survey that is sent to County Fire, Santa Cruz County Fire, have with it a requirement that the Santa Cruz County Fire Department Advisory Commission vet it before it is submitted to LAFCO. That commission meets only in January and March. So their March meeting would be the one to really meet with them and have them look over the survey. I think it's a very good survey. And I wanted to, in keeping with that, ask if the boards of the respective fire agencies would also be vetting the responses to this survey. I think they should. And so effectively, the Fire Department Advisory Commissioners are the board of county fire department, CSA 48. I would like to, I'm sorry, I have a lot of notes here. I would like to add in that in boundaries, I'm very curious about how Aptos La Salva, or the consolidated version of that district, will respond about boundaries and annexation. My neighborhood, the Redwood Drive, Newell Drive, and across the canyon from us, Mesa Grande, are islands. And currently there is the process of reworking the response to the agreement to respond to our areas. So I'm going to be very curious about how Aptos La Selva responds to that with regard to my neighborhood. In the other category, I'm very glad. Sorry?
1 minute left.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're
In
welcome.
the other category, I'm very happy to see that you request that their ISO rating be included in that. And that will be, I look forward to seeing that information. I think other issues that should be included in there is how the various districts handle plan checks. Working with the county planning department or the city planning department. That is an important piece. Locally, it is contracted out. It's very expensive and not always the best level of service. So I would request that that be added in, how they do the plan checks for building permit applications. Regarding climate change, I think the question should perhaps be modified has or will, or how do you anticipate climate change will affect your department?
3 minutes are up, dear.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure that in the county fire that the issue of volunteer recruitment is addressed in keeping with the grand jury report that was released last summer. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Chair, I just have a couple of notes on the suggestions from Ms. Becky. One of the things that I'd like to do, or staff will like to do, is the survey will be sent out to our local agencies, but also other entities that may be providing fire protection, but that are not under LAFCO's purview. So any fire commission that Ms. Becky mentioned, I think that's a good idea to send it out. Whether or not they'll provide responses is yet to be determined, but at least LAFCO's intent, or LAFCO staff intent, is to get a really good idea or better description of how is fire protection being provided in the entire county, whether it's from a local agency or not. I want to have a very detailed story in our service review. As for the areas outside jurisdictions of fire districts, that's something that staff will be analyzing in maps, in my evaluations of how are these areas outside jurisdictions being provided fire protection. Is there a difference in the level of service? And are there ways to provide better service to them, whether through annexation or other means? So that's another area that will be analyzed in this service review. For the suggestions about plan checks and volunteer recruitments, that's definitely going to be considered in the service review as well. Again, the intent of this service review is not just to fulfill the state mandate, but to be a resourceful document for the affected agencies, for this commission, and for the public. So any feedback that we receive from the general public or the agencies providing the service responses will be implemented in this report. And I think when we present this in October, it will be well received because of the level of detail that we're anticipating. And I think with the commission's approval of this outline, we'll have a pretty value-added report.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Serrano. I think that Ms. Steinbrenner's comments are very appropriate for the intent of this item, and certainly consider them as you work toward finalizing the outline.
Great.
So are there comments from the commission? Do we need a vote on any of these items?
Yes, if we can get approval from the commission of this proposed outline.
I have one question. The previous major study we did was for the South County Fire Department, and we had that done by a contractor. Do you envision you doing this one yourself with the existing staff, or do you expect to use outside?
Good question, Commissioner. Because of my past experience with this level of countywide analysis, specifically for fire protection and 2 other LAFCOs, I feel very comfortable and confident that this type of report can be done in-house. So I don't anticipate hiring an outside consultant. Our current staff level or staff members can complete this report in-house.
Great. And I appreciate the fact that you offered the districts to use hyperlinks or anything so that you could gather that information and not put an extra burden on any of them. That was well thought out, I thought.
Yeah, exactly. In most cases, this information is available on a document or living on their website. So if they can just direct us to the right web page, we'll extract that information. So yeah, we're very aware of the staff time on this survey. So if we can reduce that, the better.
Great.
Okay, so let's have a roll call, or let's have a motion first to accept this.
I'll make a motion to accept the proposed outline and process.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Deborah, can you call the roll?
Certainly. Commissioner Friend,
Aye.
Commissioner Jim Anderson,
Aye.
Commissioner Cummings,
Aye.
Commissioner Lather,
Aye.
Commissioner Coonerty,
Aye.
Commissioner Estrada,
Aye.
Chairperson Roger Anderson.
Aye.
For the record, this item passes unanimously.
Okay, thanks, everybody. So we're getting down toward the end of our agenda here. Next item is a special district selection process. Mr. Serrano.
Thank you, Chair. This coming May, we will have 2 vacancies on LAFCO involving the regular and alternate special district seats. In preparation, staff has developed a schedule outlining the election process. The first step is to solicit applications from any interested district board members in Santa Cruz County. A letter was sent out last month. The deadline to submit applications is this Friday. Afterwards, we will be sending out ballots with the names of the qualified candidates, and staff is hoping to seat those elected commissioners no later than June 2021. Chair, this is an informational item. No action is required, but I'd be happy to answer any questions after you open and close public comments.
Okay, thank you. We have 2 members on the commission. Have you both applied for renewal of your service on LAFCO?
I have.
And I as well.
Great, well, thanks. We hope that you will be able to continue with us. All right, so let's move on to the fire consolidation update. Mr. Serrano.
Thank you, Chair. After the Commission's approval of the consolidation between Central and Atossaselva Fire Protection Districts, the Commission directed staff to provide updates on the final stage of the process. After the November meeting, LAFCO completed the request for reconsideration proceeding. This allowed anyone to submit new evidence that wasn't considered to perhaps overturn the Commission's approval. There was no attempts during that 30-day period. So that led to the start of the protest proceeding. And this is an opportunity for affected registered voters or landowners to submit petitions of opposition on the consolidation. The deadline to submit petitions is today when we conduct our protest hearing at 11 a.m. At this time, we have not received enough opposition to trigger a special election or to terminate the consolidation. At this moment, it's below 25% threshold. But again, once we conclude the protest hearing and receive any final petitions, the next step is staff will be presenting a resolution that will be certifying the protest hearing results, and that will be presented to the Commission in February. And finally, I am happy to report that the 2 districts are continuing to work together and meet to address and fulfill the terms and conditions outlined in the LAFCO resolution that was adopted in November. And I'm also happy to report that the 2 districts are working closely with their unions to adopt a new employment agreement prior to the completion of this consolidation. So they are doing great work, working together, fine-tuning the consolidation, and staff will continue to provide updates until the terms are fulfilled and it's ready for recordation. With that, Chair, this is an informational item. No Commission action is needed, but I'm happy to answer any questions after you open and close public comments.
Okay, I'd like to open public comments. Are there members of the Commission that would like to address this item?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I have a brief question for Mr. Serrano. You'd said that we're under the 25% threshold, but can you just give me a sense? I mean, did we receive just a handful on the protest side?
That's a good question, Commissioner Friend. We've actually received 0 petitions from registered voters or landowners.
Okay, well, I mean, I think that that's pretty instructive. There's a lot of work that's been done over the last set of years, both remarkable work by the districts, remarkable work by LAFCO, a number of us that worked with labor and others in the community, and to show no opposition at this point is a very telling sign that everybody has done a great outreach job, and also this is the right thing to do moving forward. Thank you for your leadership on this as well, Mr. Serrano.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, are there any public comments on this item?
Hello, my name's Becky Steinbrunner. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Hello, good morning. I just following up on Supervisor Friend's comment, I want to applaud LAFCO and the fire districts for holding an additional town hall meeting on this issue last fall. It was well attended, so the interest is definitely out there. And while I don't think anybody protests, I think there are still a lot of unanswered questions. And I have brought some of those up in my correspondence that has nicely been hyperlinked at the bottom of this agenda item. Mr. Serrano, again, thank you for your good work. My concern, being a rural dweller and having observed what happened this last summer with the CZU fires, the level of service available to the rural areas is always a big question. And now I think it's even a greater question and concern for those who live in the rural areas. We need to know, not necessarily expecting the same time of response, certainly, as the urban areas get, but we need to know that there will be somebody coming, or if not, then that we are trained to protect our own places. And that is what I think we need to now focus on. In terms of the consolidation, I think a lot of the conclusions have been somewhat not really analyzed, and I really would have liked to have seen a little bit more of an environmental review early on. This consolidation was supposed to have some level of CEQA review, and that didn't happen, and I understand that, but I think that it would have analyzed a little bit more thoroughly than what the fire districts could do. Their focus has been, I think, more on the labor union disparity, and the fact that Assemblyman Stone had to come in with a gut and amend bill to smooth this out is telling. At the last Aptos LaSalva board meeting, the labor union representative for Local 3535 did say that the unions really want a single contract. So I'm confident that that's going to happen. We're still ahead. We've got some bumps ahead, but I'm encouraged by the level of leadership and commitment to the public that I have seen from the districts themselves. And I am encouraged that there will be in the very near future district-based elections for the Consolidated Board. Thank you very much. I think that the new people who were voted in lieu of election are fabulous people, and I would like to see them stay on in some capacity because they are excellent people, and they bring a different background than the boards that are there or that were there and are the remnants of the other districts that are all firefighters. They're all firefighters. Some of the new board members are not. They're civilians, and those are the voices we need to have on this Consolidated Board. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is just an informational item. And are there any other comments from the public?
Chair, I don't see any other requests to address the commission at this time.
So I'll close the public input bring it back to the board for any final comments. We don't need any action, however.
Correct.
All right, I think that we've taken care of this item. And let's move on to the written correspondence. Mr. Serrano.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to note that we did receive 2 written correspondence. One was from the State Controller's Office, indicating that CSA 60 is an inactive district and therefore a mandatory dissolution is required. We anticipated such designation, which is why the Commission adopted a 0 sphere last year as a precursor to the dissolution. And again, that was based on our findings and analysis in CSA 60 service review that was adopted back in March. Staff is scheduled to present that mandatory dissolution at our next meeting, which will be February 3rd. The next letter that we received was from the State Water Board. The letter supported the Commission's recent update to San Lorenzo Valley Water District sphere boundary. The sphere update now includes unserved areas and allows the district and/or the residents to pursue annexation if desired. Chair, this is another informational item. No action is required, but I'd be happy to answer any questions once you open and close public comments.
Okay, let's open the public comments. Are there any members of the public that would like to address this particular item?
We do have one from Ms. Becky Steinbrenner. Becky, you have up to 3 minutes.
Yes, thank you. This is Becky Steinbrenner. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you. I actually would like to address both of the pieces of correspondence, 7A, regarding inactive districts and County Service Area 60 becoming inactive. I'm a member of 2 county service areas, CSA 33 for Redwood Drive road maintenance and CSA 48 for county fire protection. I want to propose that part of why some of these CSAs may go inactive is because they are not working very well right now and have been having problems. I would like to ask that this commission request Mr. Serrano to do a survey of how well the CSA platform is working for the people that are part of it and are served by it. CSA 33 never gets financial reports. We have to ask for them. They are a long time coming and they are often inaccurate. And at the County Public Works, there is a steady rotating stream of people that we're supposed to interact with. It's got a lot of problems. And our contractors are also having problems with even getting paid by Public Works. So just speaking to that one is now going inactive, there are reasons for that, and I would like the commission to look into that a little bit in this county. Correspondence piece 7B regarding the San Lorenzo Valley Water District. I note that there are 24 unserved islands that have been added into the sphere of influence. I would like to know
1 minute left.
Thank you. How this action will affect those unserved islands. Would those property owners be allowed in the future to drill or re-drill wells, private wells, now that they are within the service area of a larger district? I know and have seen on the letter from Water Resources, they are very much in favor of consolidation. And I know that the state claims there has been a problem with 123 TCP in the San Lorenzo Valley area. That is news to me, and I'm wondering if there can be some verification of that. That's usually associated with agricultural areas. Soquel Creek Water District has a well that is plagued with that problem. And I note there are big money incentives for consolidation. So, well, sometimes that is a good way to go, and I certainly encourage it. And some, I think it's not always the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Becky. And Chair, I have some responses to Becky's comments, if you don't mind.
Okay, please give them.
Yes. Regarding her comment about inactive districts, this is a fairly new law. The State Controller's Office developing a list of inactive districts, and that's based on a statutory criteria that these agencies need to fall under to be deemed inactive, which leads to a dissolution. Regarding her requests for surveys, I think that's a good idea, and I think it really emphasizes the importance of our service reviews. Again, instead of just developing a report that fulfills a state mandate, the commission has really evolved these reports to really identify best practices and areas of improvement. And CSA 60 is a really good example of how the commission identified some serious issues with CSA 60 and how the fact it hasn't been active for over 5 years. And that information was relayed to the State Controller's Office. They confirmed that, in fact, it meets the statutory criteria of an inactive district. And that is where we are today, where it will be dissolved in the foreseeable future, which is next month. But for any other CSAs or special districts or cities, that's the crux of the service reviews, of our identifying what's going well and what isn't. So as we go along with the multi-year work program and we analyze these CSAs, we will be identifying areas of improvement and best practices, as well as other factors. And finally, regarding Ms. Becky's comment about what happens to these unserved areas now that they're in the sphere of San Lorenzo Valley Water District, at this time, there is no change. So those residents or those properties can continue to access their current water source. Identifying these areas within the sphere just emphasizes that these areas should be in San Lorenzo Valley Water District in the foreseeable future, but annexation and the LAFCO process still needs to be fulfilled. So this doesn't change the characteristics of any of the areas within the sphere. It just allows the district or the residents to pursue annexation if they want. So in summary, it doesn't change their abilities to receive water sources from any other means, but it does offer another opportunity for them.
Thank
And
you.
those are all my comments, Chair.
One question I had is that Ms. Steinbrenner mentioned that there's been contamination in some areas. And if someone's applying to re-drill or drill a new well, I assume that there's some public health forms or process that they have to go through. And in which case, if their wells were subject, I assume they would be required to connect up to San Lorenzo water. Is that correct?
I believe you're correct. I know that is a fact for sanitary issues or sanitation issues with a septic tank fails. And I think something's very similar when it comes to wells as well.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments?
Well, I'd just say as far as CSA 60, that was formed to pay for a bridge to the Huckleberry Island, and then the owners there evidently figured out another way to pay for a new bridge because it's been installed and in use now. So no tax revenue was ever collected for that purpose, I don't believe.
You're absolutely right. And that happens with other special districts or CSAs where they had a purpose at a certain time, but as the years pass, maybe that purpose is no longer needed. And that's something that happened with CSA 60. The residents found another way of financing that bridge. And that bridge has been constructed without the need of CSA 60. So it begged the question, is CSA 60 needed? And the answer has been no. And that's from the commission's point of view and now the State Controller's Office.
Okay. Press articles, any comments on those?
Chair, I do not have a presentation for the press articles. I do want to highlight two items or two articles. One is reflecting the passing of Ms. Sue Grossman. She was a former commission clerk, and I believe it was Deborah's predecessor. She lived a fulfilling life, and she will be missed. On a lighter note, I did want to congratulate Commissioner Yvette Brooks and Commissioner Rochelle Lather for getting a new leadership role in their respective fields, being the first Latinas to have a leadership role on their respective boards. And I can't stress enough the importance of our younger generation seeing local leaders that look like them. I grew up in Orange County, and unfortunately, I didn't have that opportunity. So I am very grateful to be able to work with this commission of different races, different age groups, different backgrounds. Each and every one of you, and I'm speaking to each commissioner, you truly reflect the representation of this county. So it's very refreshing to see that, and I'm very fortunate to be able to work with each and every one of you. So that's my brief presentation on the press articles. This is an informational item only. No action is required, but I'd be happy to answer any questions once you open and close public comments.
Okay, I'd like to open the public comments. Are there any questions or comments from the commission?
The only hand I see raised is from Ms. Deborah Mead.
Okay, I just wanted to add one thing. I thought you did a really excellent job of summarizing these, including the press clippings in our agenda packet. And you certainly hit what I think were the important issues. Representation within our community of minority groups is extremely important, and particularly to see that we're getting a somewhat younger representation as well. It's really wonderful.
Right.
So let's have a comment from the participants or from the audience, please. Ms. Steinbrenner.
Actually, the only well, Ms. Becky, do you have any comments?
Yes, this is Becky Steinbrenner. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you. And again, I follow up on Commissioner Anderson's comment that these links to the articles are very good, and the selection of articles that you have provided is very good. There was a very nice article also about Commissioner Lather assuming the chairmanship of the Soquel Creek Water District, and I was at that board meeting when that happened. It was great, and I was quite dismayed to hear the interaction that followed afterwards, wherein the district had the very real opportunity to follow up with Carla Christensen as the vice president, who would have continued in your shoes to provide leadership next year. And I was very dismayed by how that all went. And Tom LaHue really had to have that ego trip, if you will. That's what it was all about. So congratulations to you, Ms. Lather. And I'm very glad you're there. Regarding the attachment 8A and the County Agency Ignites Fire District Review Process, this again is very telling and supportive of the action that Mr. Serrano is now taking in this county. So thank you for doing that, and that also follows up in response, I think, in a very positive way and thorough way to the Santa Cruz County Grand Jury report that reviewed fire agencies in this county. I hope that there is one also for water districts in this county, and how they work and how they interact and how that all could be improved. So again, thank you, Mr. Serrano, for your good work, and I appreciate you keeping an eye on everything and bringing this good information to the commission and to the public. That concludes my comment.
Thank you.
Okay, bring it back to the commission. Any other comments or observations about these items?
I just wanted to comment on Sue Grossman. You know, she had my position for a long time before me. I think she worked as a clerk for 10 years. And Roger, I think you were around then, and Pat is still here. Anyway, I just want to, acknowledge her. You know, she kind of helped mold me. And it just goes to show that once you're in a LAFCO and once you know what the heck it is and what it's for, you know, you usually hang out for a while. So let us carry on with that legacy.
It takes us a long time to learn what this whole organization is about. And I was so happy to see her come for Pat's going away party. And it was nice to see her again. And I'm very saddened by reading of her death. So we are really a community in this particular organization. And it's wonderful how well we stick together. So we're just about ready to end this. I would like to just say a couple of words that this has really been a very interesting year to be chair of this group. Joe and I were talking back in March, or I guess April, saying that, well, we're probably going to have a couple of these Zoom meetings, but by August we will be back on track again. And I guess our magical thinking was a little bit too much. But basically, we are still handling Zoom. We may figure out how to actually conduct meetings one of these days. But it's basically, it's been a real learning experience, I think, for all of us. And clearly, we can avoid traffic and trying to find parking at the county building. And these are some pluses, but I do miss hanging out with the rest of you, having some discussions before and after the meeting, and just generally getting a little bit better feeling for how we all feel from the body language and the particular comments that are made in a congregate meeting rather than these isolated Zoom pods. So again, I wanted to thank you for all the support you've given me in this last year, and I look forward to the new leadership of the commission during the next year. So congratulations to Justin and Raquel, and we'll see you in about a month.
Chair, I just want to take this opportunity to inform the commission that Saturday will be Roger's birthday. So on behalf of LAFCO staff, we want to wish you a happy 21st birthday.
21st, yes, that's right. Maybe 31st. Okay. Okay, so anyway, everyone have a great new year. It's got to be better than the last one. And we'll see you in February. That's February 3rd, 2021.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Roger.
Thank you, commissioners.
Hello, Mr. Serrano, are you still there?
Yes, ma'am.
This is Becky Steinbrunner. How will the public access the consolidation hearing? Should we just stay on the line, or how do we access the hearing?
Great question. So that is actually going to be a different, same phone number, but different meeting ID. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this meeting down, and then another link and another meeting ID will be needed to join the protest hearing at 11 a.m.
Okay, thank you. And that information is all available on the LAFCO website, or where is the public to find that?
Correct. So right under the regular commission meeting agenda, right below it, there is the protest hearing agenda, and that has the link. If you have any issues locating that information, I can shoot you an email with the appropriate phone number and other information to dial in.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll go to the website now. If I have problems, I'll let you know. Thank you so much.
Perfect. I'll see you in a few minutes.
Thank you.
All righty.